Most people think you need capital to get started in business, but you actually don't. You see, money is also having what we call a moral hazard. You have too much of it, you waste a lot of it. So the key to this is to make sure if you can start a business without using any of your own money, and I'll show you how we do that in just a moment, we can actually create what we call a service value-based business. So adding value, adding service, and that's how you actually create income. When I first started in real estate, my biggest value add was to buy property at a discount to the market. Now, when I did that, I would have won find a deal and then the money will find me. So I'd find good deals. So let's say one of these houses here, I'd go and negotiate it below its market value. If it's worth a million, I'd negotiate it for, say, 800,000, and I'd find someone to put the money in. So as soon as they buy it, they make 800,000. You see, every business starts with one thing, and that is solving a problem. See, if you can solve people's problem, that's why they say you get paid with the size of the problem that you solve. For example, when I was doing a lot of speaker training to teach people about speaking on how to present on stage with charisma versus how to present in a boardroom and close big deals, it's the same skill set, but you're solving a problem that can produce a high ROI. So if you're thinking of starting something, you've got to make sure you solve the biggest problem first. So in the real estate space, I knew that a lot of transactions were taking a lot of time. So for me, I said, you know what, if I can transact in your deal in 28 days, I can buy your property with cash, then straight away, I'm able to solve that problem of uncertainty. If you look at things like Uber, Uber's app really solves the problem of anxiety. Why? Because anxiety, oh, when's my taxi going to come? You never know. Like yesterday, I was literally waiting for a cab. I was like, how far is the car going to be? Because it's a one-way system, it takes a long time to get around this. So that's why, it's the uncertainty of knowing, okay, the taxi is only 10 minutes away. So I can sit down, have a cappuccino, and then I can go from there. So that's why it's really important to understand what big pain points you can solve, because the bigger the pain point you solve, the more income you make. No problem, no profit. So what you got to find is there a willing buyer who the things that you want to offer, things that you want to sell. There's only three things you want to focus on. Do it better, cheaper, or different. That's it. Do it better, cheaper, or different, or faster. That's what people want. People pay for convenience. So if you look at clothes, for example, or look at technical things, or look at cars, anything that there is like houses, can you build them cheaper? Can you build them better? Can you make it dimmer? And it's not always about having more expensive things. It's about having the service-based business. Like all of you right now, maybe not be able to compete against big companies, but one thing you can compete on because you're smaller is actually doing something which is more customer-led. So customer service, make it really good. And that's one of the things you can really focus on and start with. So what are people already paying for? Better, cheaper, or different? See what you actually need. You don't need to have product. What you need to have is a compelling offer. And I've done this with a lot of the businesses I've started. Like the moment you start putting a compelling offer together, you add that to the product, you set the value, and then it becomes more valuable. Give an example. Let's say you're selling a book. You have a book, so they buy the book, then you're going to have the audio version of the book. So that's the second value. And then you could also have a keynote presentation that comes with that. So now you stack all three things together. So you've got to really focus on creating an offer rather than the product. You don't have to be perfect. You just need a yes. See, a lot of people, they're trying to get everything right. And unfortunately, it doesn't work because by the time you've created it, you try and sell it, no one wants it. So you don't need to have a fancy logo. You don't need to have everything perfect. You just need someone to say yes, that product or service. And this is one of the things that you have to provide. And I remember when I first started, I had a lot of stuff. For example, the first time I was just finding properties for people. Then I was actually negotiating them for people. Then I'd go around to the properties and have what we call finder's fees for people. And then I'd actually start buying them myself. So you got to start not being perfect. My website was horrible, was terrible. And, back then it didn't matter because all I needed someone to say, John, I want you to negotiate one of my deals. And straight away, I'm able to make 5,000 to 10,000 per deal. You see, and you can travel around the world doing it. So you don't have to be in any physical location. One of the things you got to start focusing on is making sure that you are implementing these things every single day. So you start focusing on it and start learning from it. Every 1% increase, if you start to see the things that work and the things that don't work. And this is what makes businesses grow. And this is what makes mine. Use free tools. There's ChatGPT, there's Calendly, there's Canva, there's Stripe. There's all these different tools that you can use, you can put together to create something online. Remember, you don't need to have a lot of money to start a business. There's a lot of stuff for free. And what a lot of people do, they use all these free softwares, they use all these free AI, and they put these things together and they create value. Remember, find someone who's willing to pay something that they're already paying money for. And then when you do this, you can create something from, you can even make it better as well. So these are some of the things I want you to really start focusing on, because that will give you the advantage of people, because now you don't have to actually start paying money for it. You just start, you earn the money, then use that money to then start growing your own business. This is how this works. Sell it before you build it. See, a lot of the times when you spend a lot of time building something, people don't buy it. Unfortunately, you waste a lot of time. But what happens is if you sell something first before you build it, then you can use the funding for that, the money, to be able to fund that build. A friend of mine, she created this planner and she had an idea for it. And then she went on Kickstarter. She said, hey, look, we've got this incredible idea. And her first fund was like $65,000. And that's what allowed her to build it all out. So these are incredible things that we can do that instead of, again, you don't need money to start a business. You need ideas and execution to be able to start a business and make it profitable. So I did this myself. When I first started, I didn't have any money to start a business. I was actually working in the job. I got so good at my job that my boss got intimidated. And so what did I do? I started my own property consult. So I started actually negotiating deals. I started to look at what I was good at. But I knew I was good at, negotiating deals. I knew I was good with people. So then I started to consult deals and I became a deal closer. So what I started to do, I started to negotiate people's deals and take a percentage of those sales. Again, you don't need any money to start off. I just literally started a bank account, a business bank account, went to my bank, said, hey, starting a business, it's free to start. Okay, a little bit of money. You have to go and register for a company. But the key to this is that, people think they need to have millions of dollars to start. Here's the thing, you start, you make money, and then you roll that money back into your business to reinvest it. That's how you actually get started without using any money. So that's it. You don't really need to have any money to start a business. You start off with what I've just shared with you. And if you're not anyone who's looking to start a business, grow it, maybe they've got this $1 million idea and they're not doing anything with it and they've got potential. I'm actually running events all around the world. If you click the link around this video, you'll be able to see when our next one is. And the key to this is to make sure that, you attend and for us, we want to work with people to help them grow their businesses to the next level. That's one way we can do it without actually having any money to start with. So if you have any questions as well, you can also comment below and I'll be able to answer those questions. But also as well, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be creating a lot more content to help a lot of you get started without using any of your own income. So if you're looking to start and scale a business and you want to earn extra income on the side, 3 things you've got to pay attention to. 1, create what we call an MVP. Stop creating something, selling it first, and use that money to create the business. Number 2 is use a lot of social media for awareness marketing. The more people that know you exist, the more they can buy from you. The third thing, which is the most important part, is to make sure that you're testing the market to see what people want and also partner with people who already have the audience. So if you go to them, then they can buy the products and services from you. Yeah. So what I'd love you to do is I've created a whole training over the last 20 years of really how to actually get started, especially if you're starting a side business, you want to earn income on the side. This is some of the ways you can do it. It's completely free, this training. Click the link around this video, register now, and I'll see you on the other side.